Yuji Itadori is the most underrated MC in the new generation of anime. That pink-haired psycho does not get the respect he deserves, often being overlooked and outshined because of characters like Sukuna and Gojo. Cause I mean, come on, once you look into those eyes, it's like the rest of the world just melts away. I mean, we can get limitless in your infinite void anytime, you feel me? God damn it. What the fuck does that even mean? Okay, let's move away from you questioning my sexuality and get back to Yuji, our pink-haired protagonist. See, you may think that there isn't much to say about Yuji based on what has been shown so far in the anime. That's what I thought before I made this video. But Yuji's character and growth is often presented in a not very straightforward or impactful way. Let me explain. Yuji's a lighthearted and kind person. He doesn't take anything serious, but he's responsible and loving towards those close to him. We see this with his grandpa. No matter what, he's there, every day, to take care of him and even builds his schedule around his visit times. An example of his lighthearted attitude would be not wanting to know about his parents when his grandpa offers to tell him. This shows that he lives in the moment and that he's generally happy and easygoing. And he may seem like the stereotypical MC who's naturally strong yet kind and kinda dumb, but rather than being like Naruto, Luffy, or Goku, he's more like a less serious Ichigo. Naruto wanted to be Hokage, Luffy wants to be the best sailor in the world or something, I don't know, I don't watch One Piece. And Goku went from wanting to retrieve his grandpa's Dragon Ball to wanting to be the world's strongest. But Yuji, like Ichigo, has no goal. Yuji was always strong, but he never did anything with his strength. So his grandfather's last words to him were very impactful. You're a strong kid, so help others. Even if it's only those closest to you. Just save the people you can. It's okay if you lose your way, and don't worry about whether they'll thank you or not. Just save as many people as you can, even if it's only one. When you die, you should be surrounded by people. Don't end up like me. Those words combined with his grandpa's death caused Yuji to think about life more deeply. What was the meaning of life? What was the meaning of death? And did he have a responsibility to others just because he happened to be born stronger than pretty much everyone? In the midst of this sort of existential crisis, Yuji's faced with a tragic situation where his friends are being attacked by curses. This is when his philosophy is formed. I believe everyone deserves a proper death. It's not complete yet, and he's not even sure what a proper death is, but he knows that he wants to help people. And what's important about this moment is that it sets up the parallels between Yuji, Gojo, and Sukuna. See, Yuji is to humans what Gojo is to sorcerers and what Sukuna is to curses. Being born the strongest within the world of Jujutsu put a lot of responsibility and expectation on Gojo and formed his life path from the start. This causes him to be arrogant and lonely. And if you would like to see me take a deeper dive into Gojo's character, make sure you check out my video about him after you finish this one. Sukuna comes from the world of curses, and there he is the strongest. And although we know very little about him, we do know that he exemplifies kingship, power, and selfish desires. Yuji is a normal human that by the age of 15 is breaking world records, so although it's not directly stated, I think it's safe to say that he's the strongest human, or at least he represents that. So Yuji deciding that he wants to help others is representative of him accepting himself for who and what he is, and what that means within a society. Unlike the Jujutsu world that Gojo comes from, that forced expectations on him since birth, in the normal world, people are left to decide their own path and have no obligation to devote their life to others. But just as a genius may be drawn to creating inventions for the betterment of humanity, Yuji decides to use his natural abilities to benefit others. So where Gojo is arrogant and Sukuna is selfish, Yuji is selfless and kind. By the way, I'm not saying that Gojo isn't kind, but if we were to think of one trait to describe each of these three characters, I think the words I just used would be the traits that stand out the most. So immediately after his decision to apply the strength that only he has towards helping others, he is unknowingly locked into that fate by swallowing Sukuna's finger. That left him with only two options: death, or to continue to collect Sukuna's fingers and then still die. But the point is that after he made the decision to accept responsibility, the swallowing of the finger was the physical representation of that decision. Now, there is no turning back. Fast forward to Yuji's meeting with the principal of Jujutsu Tech. As I mentioned earlier, at this point in the story, Yuji's philosophy is still fresh and incomplete. Therefore, this meeting matured his perspective and caused him to identify with his decision on a more personal level, solidifying his motivation and goal. Yuji is willing to go through adversity to collect the fingers because it's something that only he can do. I believe this is the core of the character that is Yuji Itadori. It's very rare to have something that only you can do. To put it simply, most people just aren't that special, in terms of skills and abilities at least. But Yuji obviously is special, first for his physical prowess, but he failed to understand that and act accordingly. He didn't use what made him special to benefit himself or others. Of course this is understandable, I mean he's still a kid with barely any guidance, but still, he did miss his opportunity to capitalize on what made him special, and here in this interview, he realizes that. So he doesn't want to neglect and waste the second thing that makes him special, which is his ability to be Sukuna's vessel. His original motivation and reason for doing this was his grandpa's words, but now it's a decision that he's making for himself because he's matured and gained perspective and reason for life and responsibility. This sense of purpose and responsibility added to Yuji's general lighthearted, playful, and kind demeanor makes him a dynamic character. And compared to the usual goal-oriented MC with a strong personality that I'm used to seeing, Yuji is pretty subtle for the position of protagonist. And this subtlety stays consistent throughout the anime as Yuji is only ever serious or focused when lives are on the line. Outside of that, he acts like a normal teenager who just wants to have fun and enjoy life. Like when he meets Junpei, he very quickly befriends him and wants to hang out with him like they're just normal teenagers, even though at this point in the story he's been in many life or death fights and even died once. Maybe you can say that it's a little unrealistic, but to me, I think that this makes him very relatable, while still maintaining that larger than life quality that most anime characters have. He's relatable when it comes to his general mentality and goals, just wanting to make friends, have fun, and live a good life. But he has an unrealistic and idyllic sense of kindness and openness that reminds me of beloved characters such as Goku or Gon, before he went all revenge murder psycho. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I think that Yuji is a great example of the less is more mentality. Because on my first run through of season 1, I thought that his character was kind of aimless and empty, but when I looked closer, I saw that there's a subtle genius in his foundation. For example, his stance on killing people and why he doesn't want to do it. Rather than not wanting to kill because it's wrong, Yuji's against killing because of how he thinks it may affect him. He thinks that it would jade his perspective of life and cause him to see killing as an option to solve more problems and ultimately value the life of others less and less, eventually losing himself. On top of that, I think that Yuji's view on killing ties into his whole proper death theme. If he cares so much about choosing how he dies as well as helping others achieve a proper death, then it would be contradictory for him to easily accept the prospect of killing. But even Yuji himself doesn't know what a proper death is, so rather than a journey of achievement, his is a journey of discovery, which is not really common for the protagonist of a shonen battle anime in my experience. Whereas characters like Naruto or the Elric brothers had tangible goals from the start, and all the character development that they experienced was a result of their pursuit of that goal, Yuji is the opposite. His original thought or motive was to help people, but that's not even a developed enough thought to be considered a goal yet. So the importance of his character development is because it'll guide him towards forming his goal in philosophy rather than achieving it. All Yuji knows is that he wants to help people achieve a proper death. Sidebar, taken out of context, that can make him sound like a total psycho killer, like only he knows when and how you should die, and best believe he's gonna take you there. But anyway, he wants people to have a proper death, but he doesn't know what that means. Discovering that is his journey. Finding and eating the pieces of Sukuna is a goal that only came about because of Yuji's original journey. He became Sukuna's host in an attempt to help people as he originally wanted to, and now because of that, this new responsibility and the things that come with it was put on him. And of course that's a vital part of Yuji's character as well. As I said before, he wants to do this because it's something that only he can do. I'm just pointing out that this is secondary to his original and more important journey, which I feel can easily be overlooked. During the baseball game of the student exchange event, Noritoshi asked Yuji why he's a sorcerer, and his answer was, "I'm a lonely guy. I want to save lots of people and have lots of them watching over me when I die." This is where Yuji's philosophy currently stands. He went from wanting to help people have a proper death to accepting that he's the only one who can do what he's doing based on his unique traits, to now identifying with his outward ideal and making it his own. By helping others, he's helping himself and cultivating friendships and happiness for himself along with everyone he saves. He's on the path of forming not just a goal, but a philosophy that transcends all areas of life. True wisdom. And this progression is so natural and seamless and so much deeper than I would have expected from a character like Yuji before I did this analysis. To sum it up, we get to watch Yuji discover and come to terms with his beliefs and the world around him to answer the question of what a proper death is and what his role in this world is, as someone who has an outstanding desire and capability to help others, all while embarking on a journey to battle curses only to willingly allow Sukuna to slowly consume him as he becomes his vessel and eventually dies, sacrificing his life in more ways than one. And to watch Yuji wear his heart on his sleeve through it all, from maintaining a childlike innocence to his reaction to the tragic fate of Junpei, his unbridled rage towards Mahito, and how his conflicts force him to mature in order to survive and succeed, is just compelling and amazing. Everyone loves Gojo, and I've heard the sentiment that he should have been the main character, and although he's my favorite character too, I just couldn't let Yuji be overlooked. He may not be in your face and his goals may not be as developed, but to me that's what makes him lovable and relatable. He's like a child, learning and growing right before our eyes. Yuji is a perfect protagonist for Jujutsu Kaisen. His is a story of acceptance, self-discovery, growth, and achievement. He begins the story as a kid, but after suffering through heartbreak, manipulation, loss, and putting his life on the line time and time again, he grows to be a true Jujutsu sorcerer. Yuji is a more complex and layered character than I originally thought, as well as unique, and this is one of the reasons why JJK stands out from other new-gen anime. It truly is a breath of fresh air. You know what else is a breath of fresh air? Purge Star Sagas. Purge Star Sagas is a dope new independent manga. Follow Mazurma in his fight against the demon-like creatures known as Malignants, who were birthed from the OG demon Maligna. Maligna was sealed by the 8 gods of this realm long and long ago, but now the battle rages on as the Malignants created by Maligna and the mortals created by the gods continue to fight. Led by Mazurma, a mysterious warrior with greater powers than those around him, who's on a journey of heroism and self-discovery. Follow Purge Star Sagas on Instagram and YouTube, and read the manga with the link in the description. Yo, if you like this video, I got more like it on my channel, so make sure you like and subscribe, and ring that bell like Santa, you feel me? Or I might be coming down your chimney, cause real niggas elevate and motivate, we don't dissipate, you heard?